Nova Scotia is surrounded by 4 major bodies of water and boasts 13,000 kilometers of coastline, giving it the nickname Canada's Ocean Playground. And over the next few days, we're road tripping around part of Nova Scotia's South Shore, a coastal area filled with charming and historic towns, beautiful beaches, and seafood. And first, we're heading to the iconic Peggy's Cove for sunrise.
There are over 160 lighthouses in Nova Scotia, and the Peggy's Cove Lighthouse is the most iconic of them all. It's said to be the most photographed lighthouse not only in Nova Scotia, but in all of Canada. The original Peggy's Cove Lighthouse was built in 1868 and was made out of wood, but was replaced by this version in 1914, which is 15 meters tall and has an octagonal shape. And while it has guided ships for its entire existence, it's also played another role. It was the town's post office until 2009.
It is a picture-perfect lighthouse, and I just love the scenery around it with this rocky coastline. And the reason that we came for sunrise is because, one, it looked like it was going to be a nice sunrise morning, but mostly to beat the crowds, because we hear this place gets crazy busy. I think in like an hour or so, a bunch of tour buses are gonna come here and just drop off hundreds of people, and they're just gonna be scattered all among the rocks, kind of like ants on an anthill. So it was very much worth getting up early, especially after our late night out at the Mooseheads game, to get to experience this with some seclusion. Although we're so tired.
While the lighthouse is beautiful, I think our favorite part of Peggy's Cove is actually the village itself. It's just this small fishing village with all these houses perched along the edge of this narrow inlet, all these boulders strewn around. It's just so quaint and charming, and it reminds us of all the little fishing villages we saw all over Newfoundland.
One of the top foods to eat here in Nova Scotia is lobster. In fact, the town of Barrington on the South Shore is said to be the lobster capital of Canada. So of course we had to get some lobster while here on the South Shore. We went to Tom's Lobster Shack here in Peggy's Cove to get a lobster roll. We've had lobster rolls a handful of times, but what makes this place special is that they do kind of a twist on the traditional lobster roll. They have a few different flavor profiles to choose from, but we got their Cajun one, which is cold lobster that's tossed in mayo, and it has some Cajun spices on top, and it kind of looks like a Cajun aioli as well.
They have loaded this thing with lobster. It's gonna be a messy one. I don't even know where to start with this thing. All right, you just gotta get in and get your hands dirty. Oh my gosh, oh no. Damn, that's good.
Did we get a fork? I don't.
No.
This is intense. This thing is loaded. I need a napkin. It's like in my nose. The lobster is so tender and delicious, and I'm not normally a mayo fan. I tend to prefer butter on my lobster rolls, but this one is really, really good even with the mayo. It just makes it nice and creamy, and then when you get that Cajun seasoning or like the kind of Cajun mayo that's drizzled on top, it just gives it like an extra punch of flavor.
There are tons of cool little towns along the South Shore, and for the rest of the day, we're heading about an hour away to Mahone Bay.
Mahone Bay is a bay with hundreds of islands, including the famous Oak Island with its hidden treasure. And the town of Mahone Bay itself has been listed as one of Canada's most beautiful towns. It's most known for having these 3 picturesque churches right next to each other along the waterfront, but besides that, it also has a bunch of colorful Victorian homes and local shops, so we're gonna go wander around and explore. But first, we are dragging so hard today. We're both really struggling to stay awake, so we're gonna go get some coffee. We popped into the Barn Coffee and Social House, which is a coffee shop, and they also have a store with a bunch of local items and gifts and a bunch of cool things that you can buy. And since it's fall, we got pumpkin spice lattes with whipped cream. And then also they have these gluten-free vegan pumpkin donuts. So we're having like a pumpkin fiesta.
I'm gonna do the ultimate pumpkinception. Take the donut, dip it in the pumpkin spice.
Fall doesn't know what hit it right now.
That's right. Oh. That was all whipped cream. But it's so dang good. Oh man. They're so cakey.
I gotta say, we've traveled all around North America, and Nova Scotia may have like the greatest concentration of just super cute, high quality coffee shops and cafes. We've been blown away by just the amazing places we've gone to in just like the last week here.
Make a friend? Mona, who's that?
We didn't really know what to expect from Mahone Bay, but it has really exceeded our expectations. It has this nice waterfront that you can walk along, and it also has a bunch of really neat shops you can walk into, and one of the more popular ones is Amos pewter. Pewter is a tin alloy, and it has been used since Roman times for household items like mugs and silverware. And at Amos Pewter, you can not only buy a wide variety of pewter goods, but they also have free demonstrations where you can watch how they turn cast molten pewter and polish it, which was super cool to see. One of the neatest things was when she took a spoonful of the molten pewter and then just spilled it over the table, and it instantly hardened, and then she could just pick it right up and then just dump it right back into the pot of all the hot liquid, and it just melded right back in. We were both like, whoa.
Going into a jewelry store may not sound like the most exciting activity, and it's honestly something that we never ever do, but we highly recommend it. It was super unique and fascinating. We actually got Adam's mom a belated birthday gift, and I'm pretty sure by the time this video comes out, we will have already given it to her, but if not, surprise, happy birthday, we hope you like it. But after seeing the demonstration, we just had such a greater appreciation for all the items we were looking at while we were perusing for the present.
Tonight we're staying in a parking lot right in the heart of Mahone Bay, and we found this spot on Overlander, which has been our go-to here in Canada. And even though this is a parking lot, it is a pretty nice scenic spot overlooking the water.
This morning we headed 15 minutes down the road to Lunenburg, which is a UNESCO World Heritage Site and one of only 2 urban communities in North America with this designation. It is considered to be the best surviving planned British colonial town in North America, with 70% of its original colonial buildings remaining.
We got a big lobster corner. Lunenburg is one of the towns we were most excited to visit during our time in Atlantic Canada. It reminds us a lot of the towns we visited in New England earlier this year. There's so many old, colorful buildings, and it makes you feel like you're walking back in time or walking through a postcard. The most iconic thing to see in Lunenburg is the Blue Nose 2. This is a replica of the Blue Nose, which is the most famous ship in Canadian history, so much so that it is on the Canadian 10-cent coin. The Blue Nose was a 2-masted schooner that was both a fishing and racing vessel in the 1920s and 30s, known for its impressive speed and winning the International Fisherman's Cup many times. It unfortunately hit a reef and sank in the 1940s, and they created the Blue Nose 2 in the 1960s to honor it. From June through September, you can actually go sail on the Blue Nose 2. Unfortunately, we're a bit too late for that. As you can see, it's currently wrapped up like a Christmas present for the winter. So to learn a bit about it and the area's fishing history, we're gonna check out the Fisheries Museum of the Atlantic instead.
This museum is so much larger inside than we expected. It has 3 floors where you can find a small aquarium, exhibits on the blue nose and indigenous history, information on how you dry fish, and tons of fishing and ship artifacts. There is a lot to see in here. I'm kind of on like information overload right now, just looking at everything, trying to read all the signs, but it's a very well done museum. But besides the inside of the museum, your admission also gets you access to a ship, the Teresa E. Connor.
Rough seas ahead.
I always love getting to come on these old ships and just envisioning what life would be like if I was living on this thing.
This table's pretty cool because there's like a channel here for all the plates to rest in. I'm guessing when it gets real rocking, so then your plate doesn't get away from you.
All right, for dinner tonight, we're having hog down pie, bean soup, bread, butter, cookies, cake, applejack, tea, and coffee.
Sign me up, I'll be here. Where's the food? Hurry up, I'm hungry. This bed's actually really comfortable. Yeah, I'll be here. See you later. You can finish the video without me.
Tonight we're staying in another parking lot, but this time it's the parking lot of Lightship Brewery, which is a Harvest Host. If you're unfamiliar with Harvest Host, it's a membership program for those with self-contained RVs and vans where you can stay at farms, wineries, breweries, golf courses, and museums for free with the expectation that you support their business. If you'd like to sign up, we have a 15% off link and code that we'll put in the description and the pinned comment below. We have stayed at Harvest Host all across North America, but we normally don't stay at breweries because we don't drink, but lucky for us, this one has coffee and food too.
We get some wings, some poutine, and San Pellegrinos in these cool goblets, but the star of the show here is this view of Lunenburg. It's worth coming here for food and drinks for the view alone. Nova Scotia has 3 national parks: Sable Island, Cape Breton Highlands, which we visited a couple videos ago, and Kejimkujik, or Keji for short. Keji has 2 areas to explore, a seaside unit and an inland unit, and today we're headed to the seaside unit to hike the Harbor Rocks Trail.
We hear that it's somewhat common to see bears in this park, and I've actually read a couple reviews where people saw a mama bear and some cubs on this trail and even on the beach. We tend to never see bears when we're expecting them, so I doubt we will see one, but man, how cool would it be to see a bear just walking along the beach?
We haven't seen any bears yet, but we have seen 5 or 6 seals hanging out in the water out here, and one was even shimmying up onto the rock island out there. So cool.
We have made it to the end of the Harbor Rocks Trail, and it ends at the St. Catharines River Beach, which obviously I'm a little biased, but it sounds like the best beach ever. This beach is huge. It spans super far back that way, and it just has this grayish white sand and super blue crystal clear water. It is the most beautiful beach that we have seen in Nova Scotia. And I'm not just saying that because it's named after me.
We We just realized that this is our 12th Canadian national park. There are 38 national parks and 10 national park reserves, so we are a quarter of the way there, but we're not quite done with Keji just yet. Tomorrow we are going on an overnight adventure in the inland portion, and we are so pumped.
But unlike our other overnight adventures, we're not going to be using our feet on this one. We have a different mode of transportation.